When I was 8 years old, I dreamt of playing the oboe. It caught my eye for the first time on TV at the BBC proms. It was situated right at the back of the orchestra, nestled in amongst the assortment of other wind instruments. I saw it as a true diamond in the rough. I was enthralled by the intricate array of shimmering keys and buttons that coated its exterior, and the sound that issued from it reminded me of dripping honey, all thick and warm and smooth. From that moment on, I fell in love. Being the stubborn and ambitious 8-year-old I was, I began my 2-year onslaught of pestering my parents into somehow letting me play it. However, for a number of practical reasons, my dream could never be fulfilled. Firstly, it turned out that oboes were wildly expensive, a risky investment when combined with the fickle nature of an 8-year-old who could lose interest or get bored of it at any point. As well as this, perhaps unsurprisingly, oboe teachers were few and hard to come by, the nearest one being a 2-hour car journey away, a journey my parents would be understandably unwilling to take. As the news was broken to me slowly, I can remember my 8-year-old self being distraught. For the first time in my life, I felt powerless, the victim of circumstance, my dreams quenched by factors that I could not control. Now, take this example and apply it to an 8-year-old girl in Mali who dreams of becoming a teacher. This girl too has a dream. She too is ambitious. She possesses a burning desire as strong, if not stronger, than that of mine to play the oboe. However, her dream is just that, a dream. She is a victim of circumstance, doomed from the lottery of birth, and all because she is a woman. Powerless, alone, she hurts. I may not have gotten to learn the oboe, but I took up the flute instead, and I can still avail of the joy of playing music in an orchestra. When deprived of an education, however, girls are all shunned down the one path, labelled the cycle of poverty. In this case, a little girl's path to achieving her dream is blocked off, and there is no alternative route. Ladies and gentlemen, today I shall be expressing to you the necessity of furthering women's rights in order to increase and maximize global development. According to the United Nations, human rights are rights inherent to all human beings, regardless of factors such as language, race, and gender. We are all equally entitled to our human rights without discrimination. I will talk about the current state of the world in terms of providing girls with an education, as well as all the benefits this action can bring in terms of enhancing global development. I will further discuss the struggles that women face in society and what needs to be undertaken in the future to tackle this. But first, let us revisit the life of our friend in Mali. At the age of 6, she, like 95% of women in Mali, according to domestic NGOs, will be subject to the cruel and unsafe practice of female genital mutilation. She will be denied the right to attend school due to the scarcity of teachers and materials. Instead, her brother's right to an education will be prioritized. He will attend school because in Mali, a boy's education is deemed more valuable than that of any girl's. Her dreams of becoming a teacher are squandered before her life has even truly begun. How is this acceptable? As she ages, her human rights are slowly stripped from her, one by one. First came education, but now comes freedom and safety. At the age of 14, she will experience what most Western girls would refer to as one of the happiest days of your life, her wedding day. We as little girls dream of our idealistic fairy tale scene, complete with big white dress and our very own Prince Charming. I myself can still remember playing wedding with my childhood friends, placing white tea towels over our heads in the pretense that they were veils, and walking down that imaginary aisle that was in fact my hallway. For her, however, this day will be one of her worst. Afraid and alone, she will be forced to marry a stranger, a man her father grew up with, someone over twice her age. Her wedding will be closer to a horror story than any fairy tale, with little prospect of a happily ever after. By 16, she will give birth to her first child, a baby girl, after a previous miscarriage that caused her more emotional trauma than she could ever reveal. In poverty and squalor, she will raise the child and the 5 more that follow, abused daily by a husband she never chose. I ask you, where are her rights now? She lives like a shadow, a mere shell of the little girl that once was, hopes and aspirations long dried up. That dream of becoming a teacher, a faded and distant memory. Living in the broken vessel that is her body, going through the grueling monotony that she has come to know as everyday life. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't just the story of one girl. It's the story of millions, and it's happening right now. When her eldest daughter reaches 14, she too will leave uneducated, a child bride, and the cycle, this vicious, vicious cycle, will continue as it has done for generations of young girls that came before. So how do we make it stop, you ask? Well, this answer can only be found in the greatest tool, the greatest friend, the greatest weapon of all, our fundamental right to education. According to UNESCO, more than 130 million girls are out of school today around the world. To put this staggering number into context, that is over 28 times the population of Ireland not being educated. More shockingly, less than 40% of countries provide girls and boys with equal access to an education. Although the lives of many women have indeed improved dramatically in the last number of years, these statistics show that gender inequality in education is by no means a thing of the past. The, dare I say, prehistoric outlook that a boy's education, that a boy's rights are more valuable than a girl's is still alive, and it's still thriving within the societies of countless countries to this day. In over 70 countries, such as Mali and Pakistan, girls still face violence that prevents them from going to school. Imagine being overwhelmed by the crippling fear that if you dare avail of your right to an education, your right to go to school, you could get shot or even killed. We need to fight against this violence. We need to ensure that no more women's rights are seized from them. So why does furthering women's rights, in particular, the right to an education, work in improving development? This is what I like to call the ripple effect. It shows the impact that increased rights to education for women can have on so many other key aspects of development. For example, if all women in developing countries finished secondary school, deaths of children under 5 would fall by 49%. If a girl is educated, she is more likely to have significantly fewer children, as she may choose to pursue a career first. This means girls would be older giving birth. They would also be more likely to possess an adequate knowledge of infant nutrition, contraception, and are more likely to ensure childhood immunization. Ultimately, women will have safer pregnancies and can make more informed decisions about their future and the future of their children. Survival rates for children will go up, and education will save lives. But it doesn't stop there. As I said, women will be more likely to pursue a career first and start a family later, which would ultimately result in smaller family sizes. This could lead to a natural population decrease, and when implemented on a global scale, would help reduce overpopulation, one of the world's leading causes of poverty. Carol Bellamy, the executive director of UNICEF, once said that a girl's education is the single best investment that any society can make. Backing up this statement further, the World Bank's 2012 World Development Report on Gender Equality and Development states that greater gender equality will greatly enhance economic productivity, improve development outcomes in the future years, thus benefiting the next generation. It will make institutes and policies more representative of women. Women who receive an education are given the confidence and the knowledge that they need to get involved in the sustainable development of their community and their country, become active citizens, and make a positive contribution in their society. Aside from the global development benefits that can be reaped from increased education, we cannot forget the personal importance that education holds to these women. Providing them with the knowledge and education that they thirst for instills a sense of purpose and a sense of achievement within them. We can create societies where women are more confident in their abilities and more self-assured of their worth. How great would that be? This ripple effect is staggering to see, and it can all be started by giving that one girl in Mali a pen, a book, and a teacher. Each one of these 130 million uneducated girls is an individual treasure trove of unlocked potential, buried underneath the sand, just waiting to be unearthed. A dusty shell washed up onto a beach, but with a gleaming and valuable pearl concealed inside. However, their lives are being put to waste. Because they are women, their lives are valued at less from the time they are born. Because they are women, their rights are seen as less important. Because they are women, they are not seen as human beings, but as a dowry or a homemaker, whose sole purpose in life will be to provide their husband with a son. Because they are women, their own dreams and aspirations are tossed aside and instead are replaced with a life that has been mapped out for them. Because they are women, they may never be given the opportunity to unleash all that potential that they possess, and the world will never know of all they had to offer. Women and girls are not the problem, they are the solution. We should be working together to maximize the ability and potential of each and every girl alive today by furthering their rights, rather than letting them continue getting sucked into this cycle of poverty. They are all vital pieces in the puzzle that is global development. Each one, each girl, as valuable and integral a part as the next. Ladies and gentlemen, it is clearly apparent that by furthering women's rights, we will maximize development in countless other areas and on a global scale. It will create a ripple effect whereby if we improve the area of women's rights, other areas of development will begin to flourish also. We need to work together. We need to raise awareness about this fundamental issue, as well as support the NGOs that work tirelessly to tackle the problem and prevent injustice for women in our world today. I'd like to leave you today with a quote from Mary Ward, the founder of my school and Loretto schools across the world. A truly inspiring woman, ahead of her times in her attitudes towards women's rights and empowerment. She said, "Women in time to come will do much." She believed, like I do today, in the capacity of women, that if given the chance, if given equal opportunities, if given equal rights as men, women can change and develop the world. Thank you.